안녕하세요. 방수탈출입니다. 최상위 프로들은 테이블에서 과연 어떤 방식으로 생각하고 있을까요? 오늘 영상은 포커 아우드입니다. 하이스테이크 레귤러들이 노이즈 캔슬링 헤드폰을 끼고 액션을 하기 전 자신의 띵킹 프로세스를 소리내어 독백하는 포맷이죠. 영상 시작합니다. 로우잭에서 버클리 선수가 3BB로 오픈합니다. 맷 버클리 선수, 누적 상금이 약 470만 달러. 캐시 게임을 주로 플레이하지만 라이브 토너먼트 성적도 꽤나 준수합니다. 110만 달러가 최고 성적이며 WSOP 팟에도 수차례 진출.
So this is a spot where if we're playing a regular cash game, I'll have a duet only range. Since we're playing closer to tournament ranges, I think this hand can go in many ways.
버튼에서 플레이하고 있는 이 선수는 마이클 루키치, 본업은 데이터 분석가이며 GTO를 깊게 연구하는 것으로 유명한 선수입니다.
Call, button call.
So I think my hand against the original open was strong enough to play. I think it's a common mistake to think that our pot odds are improved here now that Michael called the button. But our odds are now being split three ways, so this is a much worse situation. I'm also out of position versus both of them, so I would mostly squeeze with stronger hands and just go.
Small blind, big blind fold. Thank you. Heads up.
실제로 로우잭 오픈시 앞에 플랫이 없다면 퀸 8수딧 폴드 옵션이 없네요.
Out of position facing a button flat, we tend to do a little bit more checking. But this board is a little bit more favorable for us than most. Reason being is that the majority of his ace-5, ace-4 should be 3-betting pre. So he's not really going to interact with the wheel cards the way that he would if he were defending from the blinds or if this were a 3-bet pot. He will possess a fair amount of Queen X, but we block a fair amount of Queen X. So sure, we'll run into King Queen off some of the time, but it's very improbable that he'll have Ace Queen. And that just kind of reduces his strongest hands down to now being exactly 5s and 3s. Given our backdoor potential and the fact that we don't possess a spade, I think that we can start with a pretty small bet here and play turns accordingly when we improve. So with 85 in the pot, I think that we're looking at 20 here.
The bet's 20.
So he goes for a small bet, very small bet. I'm supposed to continue very wide here against this bet. For our actual hand, doesn't matter as much. We just need to continue with many hands against this pretty small bet size. So I'm just going to call and then reassess the turn.
Call.
Okay, now the board becomes two-tone, or it already was two-tone, it has two flush draws now. We turn middle pair, which is often going to be best. We will lose to hands like Ace-Jack. We're still losing to Queen X. Though our hand and our range will tend to improve here, we would mostly be choosing polar bets on this particular card and on this particular texture. I do think that we may have a little bit, I'm sure that there's a sprinkle of like B40 in here, but I don't really see the purpose behind it. I think we'd rather just fit a lot of those hands into checking range, allowing him to potentially bluff. And I actually see a pretty valid strategy here, check raising, given how many available bets he should have on the button. So with that said, I do think we have a pretty natural bluff catcher, and we are going to continue with the check, expecting half pot to come through here at a relatively fair frequency.
Check.
So Matt goes for the check. His range, when he checks here, well, he's gonna go for some check raises definitely. It's a very decent turn to put a check raise with a very aggressive with a wide range of hands. I can also, like, I can use, I don't have to use a very large bet size here, I don't think. I can just target all of these middle pairs that are now just easy check folding, giving up. And then I can still polarize the river now with the two flushes. There's also a consideration, but I think I still want to put a small bet, I think, in general here, and then reevaluate the river. So
The bet 60.
Okay, as predicted, we do face half pot here. This is a pretty wide range. They could choose to bet this. A lot of his Queen X will fit this. A lot of his Jack X will also fit this. Should be pretty clear that he doesn't have 3s or 5s at this point. He could have a hand like Queen Jack of Clubs, but actually that's not true, I blocked that. But even if he did have a hand like top 2, I still think he's pretty incentivized to lean on the bigger size with hands in that class. So we're looking mostly at his pretty strong draws and relatively strong showdown value 1 pair hands. As I said, we have a very natural bluff catcher. I think on a river 10, we get to do a lot of blocking since we will have ace king in range, and he's pretty heavily incentivized to just check back on that card. And river jack, I think we can consider both blocks and check raises. We'll see how it plays out.
Call.
This is a pretty interesting card, as I wouldn't expect very much 5x to be in his range as played on the turn. That's not really the sizing that I think that hand class wants to choose. Maybe 5x of hearts, so you could have exactly like 5-6, 5-4. Not going to be very high frequency, though, in the half pot sizing. Given that we do have the overpair advantage here, I think that blocking is completely reasonable. Still pretty... Yeah, because we have ace-king in this block range. I just think it's overall good. Yeah, I mean, I just think it's good. I'm not exactly positive what my response is going to be yet. I may deviate depending on how he responds to this. With 240 in the pot, B10 is interesting here. Because I don't really have a queen as played. I'm kind of open to this. The alternative is that I just check call. He does still have a lot of bluffs, both of which are going to bluff, whether I check or lead. The only question is, like, does blocking serve me better for the times that he has, call it ace jack, king queen, versus me just check calling versus those hands? I do still have aces and kings as played for sure. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I'm going to go with the block because I'm unsure.
The bet's 25.
So this is a very similar spot to the hand that we played before, where he leads really small into the river. Not so used to these spots with these tiny river bets, 200 big blinds deep. So I'm just going to treat the small bet as a check, as I would normally do, and play the same strategy that I was going to play regardless. Now his range, he's definitely going to contain a few queen X that is going to play this way. Something like queen 10 definitely makes a lot of sense here. It also makes a lot of sense for him to have a jack. It makes sense for him to have a few 5x in his range as well. Now my range here, I'm definitely gonna have the queen, king queen, maybe some ace queen. I think I should have bet bigger on the turn when he checked to me.
당시 솔버는 체크를 추천하고 배팅을 할 시에 MICHAEL처럼 강한 뱃을 말합니다.
But I took a unconventional line. I went for a smaller bet. Now I think with a hand like king queen, I definitely want to go for value here and just go for a raise and bet the normal bet size that I would be betting regardless. And yeah, the idea here is to target some portions of his range. I always gonna get called by a queen. I might even get re-raised sometimes here, but I expect to get folds from hands like under pairs to the jack, and maybe even get some folds from a jack.
Raise 190. 190.
This probably would have been the sides that I faced if I checked anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. I'm a little bit on an island. I think the easiest way to play this would have just been to check and bluff catch at a reasonable frequency. I think having the 10 of hearts is probably a bit of a negative, which makes our hand less bluff catch worthy. What blocking does do, though, I believe, is eliminate his ability to raise ace-jack, which is kind of important because had I checked, I think ace-jack could probably go for a half pot to 3/4 pot size. So now basically we're either against a queen or we're not. I think that, he still has ace-10 off in range for sure. He still has 10-9 of spades for sure that has to bluff. He'll still have king-10 off, probably pretty close to full. So yeah, the 10 of hearts isn't great here, but as played, I really don't think he has very much 5x, which is going to be the majority of what wants to raise here. And of course, we're just going to be paying off a hand like king-queen, but I think that's probably the thinnest hand that he does this for value with. I could be wrong. Again, we created a lot of meta when we did this earlier, but I just kind of feel like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, he goes a little bit too thin maybe in these spots, so I wouldn't be shocked maybe if we see king jack, ace jack, but I'll live with it.
He's got ace 10. He's got jacks.